and find something you're passionate about besides Ziggy.
Oh, shoot. Sorry about that. Oh, jeez. If my freaking volume was up on my phone and I was trying to pull up the chat on my phone, because you know how I can't see all the chats, most of them here on StreamYard, but no, some of them I can't see. So I always pull up my app on my phone and I have my volume way up. And yeah, that was shocking. Hey, Annabelle, Chef Angel, everybody, what the hell is going on with YouTube lately? Do you guys know, those of you guys that are on the app, that are on the YouTube app, do you notice like right now, Chef Angela's name is missing the C. Red Tick Hound is missing the R. That's it so far. But why does that keep happening? Now Chef Angela's is back to normal. Thank you, Randaroo. What kind of washer and dryer? I need to do laundry so bad. Like, oh my God. Hey, God's girl. So, is this really true? Did Dawn and Candus go to court today? Has Daisy been live yet? Because if Candus was to go on anybody's channel, it would probably be Daisy's. Ed or Red, okay. I don't know. That's what I was watching RJ's earlier, and that is supposedly what he was thinking over there. That seems to be what the locals seem to think. Hey, Judge Laura. Get up at 5 a.m., so usually always asleep, but lost a friend, 41, to a car wreck this morning. Please pray for her family. Oh, that is horrible. Wow. Yeah, your life can change in an instant like that. It's crazy how something like in an instant, it's just crazy to even imagine. But we've all experienced it. Dawn posts that pic at 4:30. Okay. Yeah, okay. So yeah, you were the one that was talking to me in the other chat saying that Dawn posted some type of picture on Facebook. It looked like you were saying something about some figurines. I didn't understand. I think his Facebook's locked down right now, isn't it? I guess I could try to look. I've been distracted. Hey, Dottie and Kathy. Yeah, it is horrible. Hopefully the kids have a father involved. the hell? God, I have to. What a nightmare. Here, while we're waiting, look at these. This divine duo. Texas mom allegedly stabs 4-year-old son to death in front of her mother. Both women charged. And you know what's so crazy about that? Where have we heard that name before? That name, last name, I swear it's been connected to some type of case. I'm thinking it's the one lady who killed her best friend in Texas. And I think it was Texas. Or maybe I'm getting that confused because this one's Texas. But she killed her best friend and like stole her newborn baby. And put her in a trunk. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Didn't the suspect, didn't she have the same last name? I know I've seen that last name somewhere. Well, we've seen Monica in a Cash Gurnan case. That name. So here's the divine duo right here. The deadly duo. The grandmother who sits and watches her daughter stab her grandson to death. New Facebook a few weeks ago. So crazy how, like, you can almost tell how shady a person is by how many freaking, like, Facebook accounts and YouTube accounts and social media accounts they have. You know, if they have like 20 effing Facebooks, I can pretty much guarantee they're up to some shady shit. That's what I've pretty much have determined or have learned over the year and a half that I've been on YouTube. It seems to be the consensus that like these shady people have lots of like Facebooks and accounts. Hey, Dottie. All right, so let's continue with this one. A Texas mother had been arrested and charged with murder after police said that she stabbed her 4-year-old son to death while the child's grandmother watched. Oh my God. Hold on. I'm still bothered by this last name. I know that name. Let's see. What was the name of that girl that was killed? And then her husband was like, everybody thought it was her husband, but it was actually her best friend. Let's see. Woman Hill's best friend for her baby. There it is. Faramuska. No, that's not. That one was Faramuska. I don't know. Just looks so familiar. Monica Figueroa has been charged with capital murder in connection with the death of 4-year-old Grayson Hurt. Her mother, Mary Johnson, has been charged with endangering a child because authorities say she did not immediately report the death. Police in Athens, Texas responded to the family home on Monday morning after receiving a call from Johnson. According to a press release, police arrived to find Grayson's bloody body inside the door, partially covered with a blanket. Oh my God. Henderson County Sheriff Body Hill House told CBS 19 that the child had been dead for several hours when authorities arrived. Johnson allegedly told cops that she witnessed her daughter sitting on top of a rolled up blanket on Sunday afternoon. She was stabbing it repeatedly. I always have a problem with that word. With a wood-handled knife. Johnson allegedly said, according to Sheriff Hillhouse. Johnson heard the child screaming before she observed Figaro cutting at the blanket, and then the screaming stopped. Oh my God. Sheriff Hillhouse told CBS 19, Figaro threatened Johnson and instructed her to leave, which she did. When Johnson returned to the house the following morning, she contacted authorities. Oh my God. What if she would have called the cops right then? Maybe it would have saved his life. There you go, Heidi Burchard. Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking that last name, the Figaro name, was sounding familiar, but... Oh, are they live about that? Is Molly live about it? Hey, it gets views. And it brings in money too. For some crazy people will sit there and super chat like crazy during those drama fest. So I know why people do it. I mean, you have to have money to survive it. Man, if you want to knock off 20 years off your life to be able to make money on YouTube easily, then yeah, sure, go for it. Just YouTube Ziggy, Miss Chewy. Nightbot puts it up every once in a while. Hey, RJ. Let me see if it's exclamation mark TikTok. I don't know if that's the command I set for it. I mean, yeah, Nightbot's working. I'll get in a few if Nightbot doesn't put it up here soon. Hey, Christy. Solo. Red Solo Cup. Hey, Mama T, Sheba. So, speaking of where is summer, RJ got me looking on Google Earth because of listening to his stream earlier. Here's Chateau Wells, 110 Ben Hill Road. And I think I agree. Because if you think about it, here's Ben Hill. Can you see my cursor? Yeah, you can. Okay. That's Ben Hill. You could see where Chateau Wells is because it's right there, the yellow. I think I agree. I believe the most likely place, the most probable place that Summer is, if she's hidden, it's probably exactly what RJ said. Probably this mountain range right here. Probably closer to, the left half. But I bet that's where Summer is. More likely, probably within here. Even, I mean, they got. I think that's very likely that they got somebody who knows how to ride a horse and took her up into the mountains. Yeah, I could totally see that because Ben Hill Road goes into these mountains, right here. In one of the valleys here. And then Limestone Branch continues. And remember, and Fred Hill lives about right here. And he told me that they used to live up the mountains further down Limestone. And actually, to get to their house, they would have to take a horse to fetch their groceries. First of all, they would have to have somebody meet them at the bottom of the mountain, have the horse take them down there, then have the person pick them up, take them to the grocery store, have the horse waiting there at the bottom, tied up somewhere, I'm guessing. Or either that, or she somehow was able to contact Fred when she got back, or vice versa. Honey, I'm home. Send the horse. And here comes the horse trotting down the mountain to fetch the groceries. These people are Appalachian people. You get like I'm really, the name that pops up into my head is Frank Light. I heard he's well trained with horses. I don't know. Does Andy Bernard ride horses? I feel like somebody took her up into the mountains back there. But only after I believe she was moved. This is my theory, allegedly for entertainment purposes only. And I know it might make some people upset, but that's just, I do think that that's very the most likely. Was he on a horse that night? I do believe that area off of Fields Road, though, you remember Fred told me this last trip. Oh, my cat keeps knocking down my speaker. Fred told me on this last trip, of course, the one I didn't get recorded, but it's okay. No use crying over spilled milk. Can't unspilled milk. Anyways, he told he swears there was some type of disturbed ground over there by the Bernard's other property off of Fields Road. And that would also be in this area. So this is going to be in the same mountain range. That would be probably about right here or so. Because it's like the next Fields Road isn't too far down. But it is definitely in this mountain range. But at that time, I think, yeah, I do believe that they, at one point, she was on Fields Road. I do believe that. I think she was moved. And I mean, I just wonder, like, And anyone else ever think that they see hidden images in TM videos pics? No, I've never heard such a thing. Yeah, supposedly that horse that was running, wouldn't that be crazy if, oh my gosh, now that's really going down like conspiracy theory crazy thinking. But what if that horse was the same horse that, I mean, because they're saying that this Frank Light's horse that was on that news conference or whatever, I don't know if it's Frank Light's exactly, but it's probably, maybe they mean like one of the lights. There's a lot of lights down there though. And I mean lights as in the last name Light. You hear this? This is I'm actually drinking. It reminds me of Jim because he always used these styrofoam cups and he loved ice. Oh my gosh. He had to always have ice. But he always got 2 liters. That's how he liked it the best. But I didn't like 2 liters because they lose fizz fast. But as fast as we drink Diet Coke, Diet Pepsi, it really didn't matter because we definitely a 2 liter was going to be gone in a day. But I didn't want to pay like $10 for a 12 pack. So yeah, I got a 2 liter. No Cheetos. Running horse belongs to the Light family. Hooked up to a wooden crate. Yeah, it was pulling something behind it, wasn't it? That was the thing that made it made it the most odd. It's like this horse had something. It was like back in the olden days or something. You see a freaking horse. I mean, it's not every day you just see a horse running in the background of a news conference. But to have one in the background running off with a wood crate attached, like a trailer type thing attached to it, definitely gave me House on the Prairie vibes. Right, Sherry? You're right. I've had that theory from the beginning. Someone could have lured her with a horse down the driveway and grabbed her, then seen that horse freak. Wouldn't that be crazy? That would be like some kind of something, you know, from the universe. I mean, that's crazy. I don't know, man. We do get into some really crazy conspiracy theories sometimes. I try not to go there too much, but man, sometimes it, you know, the Chris Watts case, I swear that was the worst as far as conspiracy theories. But there was a lot of freaking weird things with the Chris Watts case. Cement or logs are pulled. Didn't the horse during the press conference rigged up for huge cinder block? I've seen them in the local fairs. Usually cement or logs are pulled. That rings a bell, but somebody in the chat might know that one better than me. I can't remember. I'm remembering just something that was behind the horse. I don't remember. Was it a like a wooden crate type thing, like a trailer type looking thing, except behind a horse? Wasn't it something like that? I know. But it's irritating because they could just, Dawn and Candus could end it. I feel like, especially Dawn. Dawn knows the truth. Candus probably knows like half the truth. Paddock door. Oh, that's true. Yeah. That it could have been something like that too, because it looked like the horse possibly broke free of something. It it did look like that. That's creepy. Imagine piece. Who is he? When you say he, who are you referring to? You're saying there are black and white sections of Tiffany's Marie's videos that look superimposed with images of Summer, Yucky, and Man on Horse. Are you freaking kidding me? You're going to have to send me screenshots of when you see that to my email because that's some crazy shit. That is really, but you know, who better to do it than Tiffany? I'm sorry. No offense. No offense. But she's a number one conspiracy theorist. So did you know that they have those type of things in advertising that kind of trick your mind into like buying it? What are they called? They're what's it called? One of you guys will know it. Ask Fred who has a black skin horse. Subliminal. There you go. Yeah. They really use subliminal messaging and advertisements and stuff. Why do you think that, Meet Me? Oh, really? You mean Tim Mullen? So you're not talking about Tiffany Marie, you're talking about Tim Mullen. Oh, my apologies. Sorry. Oopsies. Sorry, Tiffany. But wow. Wow. If somebody, yeah, send me screenshots of that if anybody sees something like that, because that's crazy. It looks like several of you, it looks like several of you have seen it. They pump out food smells. What? Let's see. Yeah, it won't let me go back on. See this, what year was this? I forget how people do that. How people change the date. Somebody tried to taught me, and now I forget again. Is Dawn on the Hill? I'm not sure, but I guess Candus is. At least she was a week or so ago, and I didn't think she was ever going to go back there. So that's kind of disappointing because, I mean, I know she's probably worried about Candus, but I thought she had had enough of them too. Because she didn't, from what I heard, I mean, it could be just rumors, but from what I hear, she's done lying for him, and you know, and she definitely can't stand Donnie Boy. Oh, it doesn't work with all versions. Because I'm wanting to know, like, when for sure this Andy Paul like left. I wish we could figure out who he is. Fred keeps telling me he's going to, but I don't know. He's going to try to figure out who the guy is. But he took off, and I don't know when exactly that was though. Yeah, that's that camper. I was like, he's supposedly a freaking weirdo. Which around Dawn and Candus, there wasn't a shortage of those types. Of course, got the camper. Oh my god. I mean, you had to know that they definitely would be flying a Confederate flag. I don't know. I've never talked to Andy Bernard, and I really doubt that he would want to talk to me. Because there's something strange and up with that dude. And his ex-lover. It's 2013. And it's not in the later versions, is it? Because I think the Street View, the years are like 2013, 2020, and 2021 or something. I know it's a big jump between 2013, and I don't think the other ones, which they're only within a few years, I don't think those have that. Was Andy Paul somehow connected to Marlena? I can't say, I don't know for sure. My intuition, my gut was telling me yes at first, but I don't know that to be true. And I can't think of anything that anybody's told me to. I could totally see it though. But if this guy, I mean, Marlena is like mid-30s or something. And if we're talking 10 years ago, I mean, she could have like known the guy. What? Somebody would pour peanuts in their Coke when they would, that's interesting. Hey, haven't you noticed, Red, that why is it that a lot of alcoholics have any of you guys noticed that a lot of alcoholics like salt? I don't know what that is, but especially if they're going through withdrawals off alcohol, they crave salt. It is the craziest thing. I remember seeing this lady, oh my gosh. Back during my wild years, I knew of this lady that would sit there and eat salt. Like, she would try to do it without people, like, she would try to do it kind of sly like. But yeah. And she was a heavy drinker. You've poured peanuts in Pepsi? I'm not gonna lie, that does kind of sound good right now. Oh, I'm sure, Sherry, especially since they lived in that shed or that little house at one point. There's definitely bad things been going on. Possibly that's supposedly where Don was running some kind of Lady of the Night house. I don't know how else to say it nicely. I mean, that would have been, if that happened, if that's a true thing, and it was the preacher who supposedly had it shut down because I guess there was traffic there getting, I don't know, I would love to talk to this preacher, but he's deceased now. His name was Orrin. What was his Orrin Orson or something? Orrin. He's pretty well known in the area. I mean, he's not alive anymore. Kathy might know who he is. What's his name, Kathy? What do you mean they were connected? Who's Andrew? We don't even know who Andy Paul is, though, Connie. How could that be possible? Marlena said that Andrew, Paul, and Candus were seeing each other. Oh, if you could find an Andy Paul that's connected to Marlena somewhere, please let me know, because I would like to send a picture to Fred and ask if it's him, who he's thinking, because I sent him that picture that McBro put out and said was Andy Paul, and he said that's not him. He's trying to figure out. He didn't seem too very confident on his name. It was like, what do you say, like Andrew Paul? Yes, Orville. Oh, oops. Oh no, it's Orville, not Orrin. Oh my god. It is Orville something like. Orville Madness? No. He was a preacher. He supposedly got whatever activity shut down here that was supposedly going on. I guess the rumor. Don was running some kind of, just, he had a side job. He was a pimp at one time, I guess. I don't know. Candus was a madam. Oh man. I don't know that to be true, but there's a rumor about, remember what Fred Hill said in the interview about that Don was selling sex acts out of this shed. So for the people here that believe that there was this shed gives them bad vibes, and they believe, some believe that's where Summer went that evening, or was told to go there, or was left there. Anyways, so yeah, so some people believe this is a place where not good things happened. But so it's not very far off for you guys to think something like that, seeing how we hear from Fred about this supposed like hustle Don had, where I don't know if he had like, I don't know exactly how it was ran, if it was like he, and this is what, and Fred told me that's where Fred claims he saw Rose, like, and somehow Rose was all, and he swears that he met Rose at some point, but I don't know. Rose went missing, and it would have had to have been before 2009 because Rose went missing in 2009. But what's crazy about that though is that Kelly, who I had from the Unbroken podcast, the guest I had on who was trafficked by her parents until she was 26 years old, she strongly believes that's what happened with Rose Bly. Not familial trafficking, but she believes, it has to do with trafficking, whatever happened to Rose Bly. So was Rose somehow forced in some kind of, oh my God, I don't know. I guess you can't pull it up on this yeah, a trading post. Yeah, it was probably a place you would get drugs too. I'm sure those kind of go hand in hand. Yeah, Fred was questioned. He had, and according to him, he once again he wore a wire on Dawn. He's openly admitted that. He talks about it in our interviews, in our talks. They weren't really interviews, they're just talks that I posted. He talked about how he wore a wire on Dawn. He didn't tell me that initially. That was something he kept quiet. And actually, when I heard it, I learned that the second time I went to Tennessee. I didn't learn that the first time. So he actually kept it to himself. There is things that they ask him, they're like, ask him to please not really tell people. But like, I think Andy being on that road that day, I think that was one of the things he wasn't really supposed to say. But cat's out of the bag now. Anyways, yeah, he talked about wearing a wire, and when I learned about it the second time I was there, which would have been June, the 1 year anniversary, or 1 year anniversary, that sounds bad. 1 year missing date, around June 15th, June of 2022. Is that's when he told me about it, and then I didn't mention it for a little bit because I didn't know. I didn't want people to like get on him about being a snitch or something. But I think everybody should understand when it comes to a missing child, right? Oh, I hope so too. Imagine Peace. I swear, if I have the resources, I definitely will be in a few months, this coming summer. So you've heard about this too? I mean, you were with me when Fred talked about that story, I think. It is interesting because it does make you wonder. I mean, could Rose Bly been I mean, think about it. Rose Bly is Candus's sister, and her mom is. I mean, she was around some rough people. Their uncle was RSO, like of the worst kind. So, was she possibly forced into some lifestyle, or maybe groomed into some kind of lifestyle very young? And if that would have happened, if it's true that Fred Hill saw Rose Bly, it would have been before, it would have had to been before 2009, right? Because she went missing in 2009. Isn't that correct? There wasn't a pic of the board. It was just something you're probably thinking there is, Ash, because your mind remembers Fred talking about it, and so you're probably there. I don't think anybody has a picture of an actual board with prices, but that's the way Fred described it, was that there was actually a plywood board of like sexual acts and prices. I don't know. I mean, seems crazy. It is like Beach Creek's not the busiest road, but to have a sign, you would think that would get shut down pretty quickly. But if it's something that was kind of kept on a DL, like maybe I don't know. But then we hear again just recently when we had a lady that came up on panel a couple weeks ago claiming to be a ex roommate of Pam Wells and Dawn, and actually met Candus. So that would have been back in, it was like early 2000s or something. No, it couldn't have been early 2000s. When did she met Pam in that early 2000s, but that would have had to been like towards 2009, I'm thinking, or something like that. 2010. She said she met Candus because Candus was homeless and Pam gave her a place to stay. And that's when Dawn hooked up with Candus and left Pam for the homeless girl that they let sleep on the couch. And so, do you believe that? Do we have proof that Rose actually called CPS on Candus? Cursed with curiosity. Where are you located? I'm I need my own. I mean, I'd be willing to meet up with some people, but as far as staying with anybody, like, I didn't know I wouldn't, because I like my own space, you know what I mean? Especially because I'll have my daughter and Athena with me if I do go to Tennessee. But that doesn't mean I can't meet up with people or whatever. If I trust the situation, for sure. I mean, and if I agree with the person's like intentions and the reasons and what they're doing, and as long as they're not going out there with a whatever it's called, bullhorn or she could, I suppose it's possible she's on the property. Maybe it's possible. Just got here, but nothing Dawn or Candus did or will to surprise. I know, because they've done some crazy things, but I think Dawn purposely likes that shock factor. That's cool, Cursed. I just like to, but we'd probably, if I went again, I'd probably do the RV thing because that's the cheapest way to go. That's even cheaper than a hotel. And it's better. I forget how much it was for the last time we went down there, but it wasn't too bad. So we know for a fact that that's true. I mean, I've definitely heard that rumor for sure about Rose calling the cops. Oh. Could it have been Jeannie? I think Fred had Rose confused with someone else, in my opinion. Well, didn't you remember that person, Rose, that was like named Rose, that was like friends with Candus? Or like there was rumors that they were in a relationship at one time or something. I'm wondering if it could have been her or something, or wasn't she like a longtime friend of Grandis? And this friend was named Rose, I believe, and she kind of favored Rose Bly. I definitely find Summer. I definitely, when I first heard it, I was like, oh, he for sure has it confused. I thought for sure. Well, when she went missing in 2009, she was in her early 20s, right? So it's totally, I don't think that would really fit the timeline. It doesn't seem like it would really fit or be likely. It was when Candus had Donnie and Margie. Oh, okay. It was after Rose came up missing. Okay, that sounds about right. Yep, I've heard that also. Well, one thing that I agree with, like, I mean, 100%, 1,000%. When RJ says what he says about Summer Wells, like saving her brother's lives, that is like 1,000% something. That is 1,000% my beliefs too, and something I've said so many times before. Because at the very least, like, we lost one child, but in the process 3 were saved. So it's not, at least if she did or lose her life, at least she saved her brothers. But it's just horrible to think that it would have to come to that. And I really hope it's not the case. But her going missing, and maybe she is okay somewhere, and maybe this was something the universe, like Jody Sue said, a perfect storm, like the perfect storm happened and somebody abducted her it was just a perfect timing. Or maybe she was sold and to a family that really wanted a child. I don't know. Maybe it was something the universe came up with to save them from the sentence of being stuck in this generational abuse year after year. It breaks the cycle. Maybe it will be a happily ever after. Maybe Summer will be found. She'll write a book. Who knows? Maybe the boys will actually get educations and be able to break the family curse. It's like it had to happen. If Summer lost her life, it definitely was not in vain, because this has been a generational issue within that family, been plaguing that family for generations. Maybe you can have Fred on one night as yes. I would love for Fred to come on here. I've asked him so many times. He is okay. So, you know how, who was it that was talking about Appalachian people? I think once again it was RJ. When you think of Appalachian people, and that is, Fred totally, he is very much very close to how the Appalachian people live. They were living like that. They had horses fetch them their groceries down the mountain. He's not a technological type person. He has generations and generations before him who have lived that lifestyle. On Ben Hill for a couple generations, but before that in Virginia, so this has been going on for generations. He's very much Appalachian, and Laura is a little bit more modernized or whatever, but she's also Appalachian. You could totally tell. Rose ever visited Don's mother's place? Well, according to them, Don, I don't think he claims to never have really met her or something. Who was a real bad dude also, Ash? But that's the perfect way to describe Fred. He that's his life. That's all he knows. It's hard to explain, because you would think also you go out to that road and you are not going to get service. I even changed my service to AT&T thinking I would because really, well, it's a long story. But anyways, I thought that's part of the reason why I got AT&T phone service when I switched my phone number, because I was told that AT&T works in that area, but it sure as hell didn't work on my phone. And it was not any better. Actually, probably worse. I don't know. But anyways, I've had T-Mobile and I've had AT&T, both contract phones, both of them out there on Ben Hill Road. And both times with both different services, you have to travel. It's like at least like 20 minutes to get service. You go, it's like, well, there's Simpson Loop coming out there. I mean, I don't know what happens when you go the opposite direction down Beach Creek, but hold on. I'm looking for. Yeah, so when you go off Ben Hill Road and take a right, you go, I mean, you have to go all the way, almost till you get to the highway. Where is it at? It's freaking far. I know that. I don't know where it's at, but you go down Reservoir Road forever. So you go down. Now it's going to bug me, but it's far. You have to, it's like 20-minute drive till you get service when you turn right out of Ben Hill. But I don't know about, I try to leave to get out of Hawkins County the quickest. You go right and just like up a little ways, not far at all, just like a couple miles, you're in Sullivan. They don't make burner phones like they did 20 years ago. They can trace them, but you have to have the phone, not just what traffic goes through towers. Verizon has the best coverage in the general area. I wish I would have tried my phone when I went out that way, but I didn't. Oh, and Kathy was out there with me. So you have Verizon. She said also no service. I'm not sure what Yennefer has, but yeah, that's the whole reason. The whole reason why I started looking into AT&T was for that reason alone. Truly, because at first I was looking into getting phones for Fred and Laura, okay, and you know, things happened. Jim passed away. Well, that was later, but I ended up getting AT&T myself, and I was thought I was going to be in the clear and be able to have, go live. I thought, oh, cool, I'll be able to go live, and maybe we can go live with Fred. That's what I really my goal. One of these trips is to take them to dinner somewhere, like, or something. I mean, but we'd have to travel pretty far, and maybe have a live with them that way. But see, the thing is, like, Laura is she has bad anxiety. So I don't know. And Fred is definitely, he seems kind of shy, or like he seems kind of passive. He seems timid. He's very kind, kind of childlike, but mechanically inclined. And I guess they call him like the horse whisperer because he's great with horses or whatever. But he's just not, like, savvy with all this. It's never been necessary in his life. Oh, I hope that they're on it. And because I hope to God this has nothing to do with law. There's no type of, weird sheriff involved in some kind of weirdness and tied to this, because that will really put a obstacle in the path of. But you know what? I've noticed again, because when I heard people were talking shit, because I asked if I just asked, I was just talking, like, having a conversation with you guys, like, we're as friends. That's what I do. We talk, like, I talk to you guys like we're all in one room or something. And this is a discussion channel. It's not really an educational channel. I mean, it's nice, like, if we can learn some things, or maybe, get some actual facts sometimes, or actually talk to some people real close to the case. It's nice when that happens, but usually it's just discussional here. But I just so happen to be asking you guys if Hawkins County was on the Summer Wells case anymore, because you remember it's gone back and forth. Well, somebody, I guess, clipped it and made it seem like I was saying it was a fact that Hawkins County was off Summer Wells case or something. But so I looked it up, and the name they have now is Tony Allen from Hawkins County. It's gone through 3 different people now. Lawson, right? Then wasn't the other one Pruitt? Or it's Pruitt over the TBI? He might be over TBI. But now it's Tony Allen. One second. Okay, Pruitt is Rogersville PD. Okay, so he was the one that was talking about who they had as a contact for Summer Wells for a while, didn't they? Tony Allen is Here, no, that's not. How could I miss summer? Chief Deputy Tony Allen is listed right here on the in the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office, or Gerald Ray. I'm get Sergeant. I don't know what SA means. So Chief Deputy Tony Allen of Hawkins County is listed as the person to contact about summer from the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office. As far as TBI, it's somebody named Gerald Ray. Kind of worried me there for a second. Why don't they have her listed as one of the Tennessee's missing children? Did you see that? How under the missing children she wasn't listed? It was weird. Man, this... Maybe it's like after so long they come off the missing child list. Let me see if these other... Let me start at the bottom. Well, these are missing since 2008. The labs recently talked with him. These are all the way back to 2008, so why? But then it jumps to 2021, 2022. Oh, look how cute this girl is. She's so pretty. Sad. A lot of these, though, are probably girls that wanted to run away with a boyfriend. Hopefully, they're okay. This one's only 13. Why would they put out this like picture? That's like the worst picture ever. Do they not have a better picture of their child for so people know what to... I never understand that when parents give these crappy photos when their child's missing. Who doesn't have like a million billion pictures of their child? Or besides that, what child, doesn't have a million selfies, especially at 16? I think it's June Well, the last grand jury was in June, right? Hey, Dumbeesh. Good to see you. They had to get a photo from Robin for summer. Wow. Harmon, why does that last name sound familiar? Aw, she's a cutie. Sad. Yeah, I saw this one recently. She's still missing. I wonder what's up with it. What's going on with. Do they have any freaking updates on this one? I guess the best place to actually, if you're looking for information, the best place usually to get it is on Facebook as far as updates. Let's see. Maybe I should look there because I was just curious. I can't. It's always a bad sign. You know, always a bad sign after like a couple days and are not back. Here she is. See, just like that's what I'm talking about. This is my daughter, Aaliyah Ann Whitehead. She ran away from home. We are located in West Tennessee. The last photo is what she had on today. She is 5'1", 140 pounds. She has black leggings, a tie-dye hoodie, and tennis shoes. If anyone sees her, please call or her dad. And then it said, we are very worried. This was 2 days ago. Here's a picture of her. She's only 14. Do you know that there's a lot of weirdos out there that the biggest trick in the book right now, or the biggest trick on the internet right now, to as far as it seems like, and that's just also what Kelly said, who came on here and was a guest. She was trafficked as a child, but biggest con they try to do to trick these kids is like making them think. They meet them in the game, games online and stuff like that, because now you talk in these games. It's interactive, and these guys, these weirdos, prey on these young kids, and there is guys that go on there and try to tell these kids, like, try to get them into supposed modeling. Tells them that they're gonna get them into modeling and and fly them out, and they get them to sneak away, and then they get them trapped in trafficking. That is a lot of kids. Candus had 1,000,000 pics this summer. Also, the pic in the red dress was a professional pic. I don't know why Robin would have was it really a professional pic? I don't think it looked like her, but she looked different in different pictures. And I mean, looks so different. Like, of course, we're gonna look different in different pictures, but for a child, you look pretty consistent from picture to picture usually, except of course getting older. But for some reason, in Summer's pictures, she looks sometimes like a different child. And the only thing I can, without getting too conspiracy theorist, that, and I hate to even say it, but some of them she does look drugged, like she's on opiates. I know that look, and there is a couple of her photos, and it really does. When people aren't opiates, it changes your look. It I don't know how to explain it. That's how most of it is happening with that modeling thing. Yeah. One of my daughter's friends, moms called me because she watches me now on here, but she she started questioning me because she's like, do you know where my son is? Like, your daughter talks to him on this game. And I'm like, and she told me, and then we started talking and she told me how this guy was trying to tell her son that he could model and that he was trying to fly him out to California and stuff. The guy's 16 or 15 or something, or the kid is. These people, and that's how they get them and trap them into this trafficking. Usually get them addicted to drugs. So that's another way to keep them trapped, because then you have to have the drugs to feel normal, to be able to function. So then you become dependent, and that's another way to get you stuck and tied to these. Another way to make you trapped. Not only are you trapped, there's fear for, them going after you, killing you or your family, then you also have to have drugs to function. My ex-best friend is an addict, and when she using, she looks like a different person. Her eyes changed drastically. I know, Raybird, I know this is mean, but I remember one time telling my best friend at the time, and it was before I knew anything about addiction really, or before I, went through my period of addiction in my 20s. And she is the first person. It's not her fault, like why I became an addict or anything. That was gonna happen with or without her probably. She was definitely, one of the ones I used a lot of drugs with for the first time. And she was like a couple years younger than me. So it was crazy for me to see somebody so young addicted to opiates. I didn't understand it. And I didn't get it. But I remember telling her one time that, and it was so, because she was so gorgeous. She's really pretty still to this day. She's changed. It's crazy. I've been trying to get her to come on here and tell her story about her, basically her testimony, because me and her, man, I just want you guys to it's hard for you guys to know where I used to be, but she knows that. She's seen me like that. I've seen her like that. She's completely changed her life around too. It's actually completely amazing. She's been to prison and everything. It's very, but I tried to get her to come on here. Maybe someday, I don't know. But anyways, I told her one time, I remember saying, I remember these exact words. I said, "You look so ugly when you're on opiates." It made her look like a freaking different person. And she's gorgeous. Her mouth would droop. your muscles relax. Her mouth would like droop. And she just, she looked terrible on it. You left your daughter in the store thinking she was with one of my other kids. Got home and discovered she was not home. Praise God, the store was near me. She was looking for. Oh my gosh. How old was she? Oh, yeah. I mean, according to Jody Sue, she did, right? Jody Sue said that there was alcohol in a sippy bottle or a sippy cup or something. Man tried to lure my son into his room to meet his granddaughter. It scared me to death, and it scared my son to death. How old was your son? Oh yeah. Here, you wanna meet my granddaughter? Freaking creep. God. Dude, if I don't even want to think something like that, but I would probably never mind. I better shut up because I'm gonna get myself in trouble. Not that I care what people think on here anymore, but just out of respect. If I found that I was attracted to children, oh my God. Ugh. I can't imagine, but I would not probably be here to talking to you right now because I can't. That would. I saw a story on YouTube, and I know it's like really uncomfortable to talk about it because of the subject matter. I mean, but he was talking openly about his attraction to children, and he puts it out in the open so that it's a way basically to keep himself accountable. He's also like a hermit. He does not leave his house. He like secludes himself from the world so he doesn't offend. I can't imagine having that kind of life. I'm glad that guy has enough awareness to know he's a danger to children but that's so crazy to think how powerful something like that is or takes over somebody, to think that they have to seclude themselves just to make sure that they don't hurt a child. And that guy is definitely the minority because I've never heard another story like that. It's few and far between, but who's going to be open about being, not very many people are going to be open about that. But he wanted so bad not to hurt a child that he had experienced it himself, as a child, and he has that empathy. And I don't know if there's a lot of offenders who feel bad after, doing something like that, or if they don't have any type of empathy towards a child. Because I hear I guess it matters. Some like develop some kind of weird fantasy in their heads, like relationship wise, as if the child's their equal, like Don Wells and a 5-year-old. Yeah, that would he might have talked about something like that. I think he was on a medication. It's funny that you mentioned something like that because I think if I remember right, was on a medication to kind of try to curb his sex drive. There's a group trying to get that legalized, hiding in a larger organization. What are they trying to get legalized? Like, let me think here. What did I talk about? Something to do with pedophilia? There's a group trying to get that legalized. You mentioned a larger organization the other day, so I'm guessing this is probably related, what you're talking about. I'm all for Hammurabi's law. What's that mean? If it offends, cut it off. Whoops, maybe the wrong. You know what? I think I think if there is a medication that takes away sex drive, I think why can't we force why shouldn't offenders, like if they're on this offender list for especially the under 13 age range, 13 and under age range, especially for that age range of offenders, why can't we, and especially for the ones, even the other ones too, who have offended, multiple times. It should be everyone the first time, but I know that our court system likes to give people chances, even though it's shown, statistics have shown over and over again these people don't get cured. But so it's extremely rare to have that type of awareness like that guy did that I was just talking about. But why can't they force these offenders after they're on the the registry to take? Isn't there a medication? I mean, I know that guy was on. I could have sworn that guy was taking a medication that was supposed to curb his sex drive. Can't they make that like a condition of probation for these guys? Like they have to. I mean, they have to take that medication to help prevent them offending. I don't know. I'm sure it's against some kind of civil rights or something, but if you offend against a child, I believe that isn't a far-fetched type thing. I mean, that seems like something that might actually be effective. Medicated castration. Well, they would have to go in, like G-Crime. They would have to go in either daily, unless there was like a medication they could take, every few days or something, where they'd actually have to go into their probation, like how they go into the probation appointment or whatever. And they have to take their medication for the day or for that week or whatever. Or maybe there's a way for them to test their system to make sure they're taking it. They would probably have to be people would try to get around it. But they would probably have to go in and, I mean, especially for the riskiest of offenders, they should be forced to go, if they are going to have any chance to be any type of freedom, they should be forced to go into that office every day and take that medication. And I don't understand why we're not doing something like that. I know, Heels, I agree. But that's not something that's ever going to happen. So you have to think like logically, realistically, I guess I should say, what can be done, what is something that possibly is actually a possibility that would actually work and actually produce results. I know there's medication out there that lowers sex drive. Antidepressants are some of the, and also blood control medications and stuff like that. I know there's medications out there that can curb that. I know they can't be cured, just like, exactly, they can't be cured, just like some other thing issues can't be cured, but they can take medications to help curb that desire. Yeah, but they would have to be forced to go in, Jam. They would have to be forced to go in daily to take the medicine, is what I'm saying. You know? Like the riskiest of offenders, they should go in daily. It should be a condition of their probation. We have offenders on probation or on parole that have to go into a place to take a drug test every day. You know, when they're first released, or they have to go in very, very often. Oh, it caused more violence. I agree. If they absolutely can prove it, I guess the thing is that they worry about with that is sometimes that would cause lawsuits for sure, because it probably result in possible medical problems for some, and they would be using it as it caused me to get aggressive, like somebody was saying. That's probably the liability, probably is where. But I feel like if we have absolute proof, if you're convicted in a court of law for a child, a preteen and under, it should be like, first of all, go to jail, go to directly to jail. Don't think, don't pass go. You should have a certain amount of definite prison time. You have to make the punishment bad enough that people it's gonna deter them. Right, Jab? Depot chemical castration. That's what Jam was saying. Yeah, it should be something. Why, Christina? What's the reason why they're not doing something like that? That our government hasn't enacted something like that. I'm guessing it would probably have to do with the legalities. Possible lawsuits. Oh, you got some cops, like, yeah, I mean, nobody likes those type of people that hurt children. Nobody. And so a lot of times, like in prison or jail, guards will let certain things slide or act like they don't see it, because everybody has, most of the population has a child they love, has a kid of their own, or and a lot of those guys, they can't see their family. They can't be with their kids. And then they see these guys coming in there just like hurting the children they do have. And these guys can't see their kids. So I don't know. They're bored. And why not, right? Who are you going to target? Who would be better of a target than people that hurt kids? That's why Brandon Lawson had, why that was all hush hush. We couldn't have something happen to the sheriff's son, not Mr. Ronnie Lawson's. And when is that going to be looked into too? When is that going to be retried? That whole thing needs to be overturned, or I don't know, whatever it's called, redone. Because that's a bunch of BS. It makes me mad every time I think of it. And people that are the locals there know it too. People are pissed. And there's a lot of locals that want Ronnie Lawson gone. But for some reason, people are scared to run against the guy. Because it is true, he is very well, they're all very well intertwined with each other. It's a way to, it's like job, it's like an insurance, basically. If you get in with a certain group, it's like what's the word? It's like a job security. So a lot of these people do, I mean, and when these things happen, like these, when there is corruption in law enforcement and in small towns, especially like this area, that's how it happens. You have these people that stay in power for years and years, and then they all in order to create some type of job security, that way they have this job for years and years to come. They get in good with the other sheriffs and the other businessmen, higher business, the people, important people in the area. They also volunteer at or show up at the city commission meeting things. They get very involved in the city, the town, and county events, rub shoulders with all the business people in the area, and then they have job security. Yeah, the female pedals. Well, there should be something to curb. Same thing. I know, that's so crazy, Jab. I don't know about the female ones. That's like, oh my gosh. That, I don't think. Now, when the female ones are even more demented. I don't know how it's possible, but they are, because think about it. If you think about it, the reasons the women would do something like that, it's more than likely not going to be for sexual gratification. So there's no pill you can really give them to curb their sexual desires, because that's not the reason they do it. A lot of women hurt children like that as a power type thing, some weird screwed up mental crazy shit. Freaking the craziest of crazy people. You just like get, it just is a kind of, makes them feel powerful, I guess. Oh, are you you're talking about the ones though, like that sleep with the 16-year-old student or something. The teachers that sleep with the 16-year-old student or something. I'm talking about the real weirdos that, I mean, that's weird. I don't see what somebody could have in common with somebody that age. But the real sick ones are into the prepubescent ages. It's all sick, but you know what I mean. There should be a limit. I agree. Is there no limit at all? I don't understand why there's not. That's the whole point of, that's why those type of laws are in place and are um in our government. That's why we have those positions like for the uppers. No, I mean in higher positions of government. I'm not talking about at the county level, but there's limits to how long you can hold certain jobs. Or I mean, just like there is with the president, vice president, even way down the line, the governor. So why is it should be the same in the local government too? Because this is what happens. That's how corruption happens. It seems so obvious to me, but I mean, I can't be talking about something that nobody else has ever thought of before. I guess they have their reasons, I suppose. Ones that help serial killers. Yeah. Have you guys watched that one guy who, well, I played him the other day. He's really interesting. He used to be, maybe I'll watch that real quick before I leave here. Show you guys this guy. He's covered the Murdaugh case. He was in the South Carolina prison. Let's see. It's interesting to listen to because, well, because of his experience. And he knows what Alex will have to face. But he talks about, let's see here. He's shot up in views. It's crazy. He only had a few hundred subs. And look at now. That's how when that's what my channel did too. And then it just like plateaued and stayed. But yeah, I knew he was going to blow up like that. And I tried to get a hold of him before he did too, because I knew people would be, I tried to email him, but didn't get to him in time. So, all messages. Find Summer's Truth. You want to put all messages or live chat. I don't know why they do that. It's so dumb. Why I don't get that. Unless you're somebody that doesn't chat anyways and not interested in the chat, but a lot of people like to read the chat. So I always try to remember to leave the live chat replay on because sometimes that comes in handy. Let's see, where's that? Oh yeah, it was a short. That's right here. Right here.
Alex Murdaugh just got 2 life sentences in prison. What do you think his prison nickname will be?
Papa Murdaugh. Murdaugh.
You think he's getting a lot of fan mail, or he's going to get a lot of fan mail in there?
Yeah, dude. Modern day chicks are super weird about that shit. They think it's hot, so yeah, he's probably getting a lot of weird stuff.
They say about 22% of people think he's actually not guilty for those 2 murders. You think he did it?
Yeah, fuck it. He did it. He for sure did that.
Alex Murdaugh just got 2 life sentences in prison. What do you think his prison nickname will be?
Papa Murdaugh. Murdaugh.
You think he's getting a lot of fan mail, or he's going to get a lot of fan mail in there?
Yeah, dude. Modern day chicks are super weird about that shit. They think it's hot, so yeah, he's probably getting a lot of weird stuff.
They say about 22% of people think he's actually not guilty for those 2 murders. You think he did it?
Yeah, fuck it. He did it.
So, I was showing that because of how he mentions about how women, some women are into these guys, you know, prison guys for some reason. I don't know. It's a whole fetish. So that's fine. You women can have the prison guys. Leave the other ones for me. I won't fight ya. So here, gosh darn it. No.
Alec Murdaugh is currently serving 2 life sentences in the South Carolina Department of Corrections. To be more specific, he is in the Kirkland Correctional Institution, where he will be for several weeks undergoing an evaluation before they decide what prison yard within the state they want him to go to. I myself have done 10 years in the same South Carolina Department of Corrections. I've been to multiple prisons within the state, and Kirkland Correctional Institution, where Alec currently is, I've actually been there twice. So it is a bit different when you get there compared to getting to other yards within the state. And I just want to give you a little insight as to what happens when you get there. This is not just for Alec Murdaugh, but this is for any inmate who gets there. And just go into the process, because there are a lot of interesting things that happen. And I haven't seen this covered by anyone else, probably because no one else who's covering this has actually been to that prison before. So the first thing that will have happened to Alec Murdaugh is about 5 a.m. The prison bus will have come to his county jail to pick him and any other inmates who are scheduled to go to state prison. I'm going to tell you why Alec Murdaugh will not and cannot join a white gang in prison, as many predict he will or already has. How would I know? Because unfortunately, I served a 10-year sentence in the same South Carolina Department of Corrections that Alec Murdaugh will be spending the rest of his life at. There are a number of prisons within this state. I've been to several, but bottom line is, the topic I'm covering today in this video is the same in every single prison in the state of South Carolina. I mentioned in a previous video how I'm noticing a lot of people saying, why did Alex Murdaugh shave his head? Is he trying to look intimidating? Is he trying to join a gang, specifically a white race-based gang? The answer to that is no. That is not why his head was shaved. They shave every inmate's head once you come from the county jail to the actual South Carolina state prison system. They say the...
I changed that video because I had already seen it, but it's a good one if you want to know everything that Alex will have to... or Alec will have to go through during this process of being basically, you go to the first place he goes to, where he's at right now. It sucks really, really bad. So I hear He's there for like 30 or 45 days, and they give you all those tests. They shave your head. He said the very first thing that they make you watch, he said, this guy said that he thinks that they do it on purpose. They make the inmates watch the very first thing they see when they come into the prison, they have to watch a video on prison rape and how to protect yourself from it, how to report it if it's happening to you, how to report it secretively. And he said it's scary. Yeah, he said it's he feels like they do it on purpose. And they do a lot of other things to kind of make you feel more like they dehumanize you. You become a number. They shave all your heads. You have to all wear the same thing. You're not allowed any type of identity. You know, they don't want people. You have to wear all like white t-shirts. You can't wear any type of, branded. Everything has to be the same across the board for everybody. They do each other in there. Well, I don't, he's in there the rest of his life, I guess. I don't, do you guys think that he might, I don't know. I don't know if he, I mean, I haven't heard any rumors about him with that, but.
The reason they do this is to cut down on the risk of lice being spread. Now, the reason why he cannot join some white race-based gang in South Carolina state prisons is because there are no white-based.
Wait, do you guys think that's where why they shaved the kids' heads? Because that's where Don learned it, was in prison. I know, Marilyn. You should. Good thing that you wonder. That's a good sign. That means that you're not a weirdo. Congratulations. You passed the test. The woman on the Netflix series met this guy who was in prison for SA offense. When he got out of prison, she married him, and they did these horrible things to these girls. It was 20 years before they're caught. What series is that? Do you know is it still on Netflix? Do you know?
Gangs in South Carolina state prisons. Now, before someone who's already been to prison goes to the comments and says, "Oh, that's absolutely false. I know plenty of white gangs in prisons that I've been to." I'm sure you do, but that's the prisons you've been to. I'm talking about the South Carolina state prison. I know they're very present in other state prisons and in maybe more specifically federal prisons. I get that, but there are none in South Carolina state prisons. Of course, over the years you see one, maybe two here and there. They're not very vocal about it, but someone may notice if they have their shirt off a tattoo that suggests or indicates that they are a part of one of those gangs. And I can tell you when that happens, it's just not very good because there's only one or two of them, and the other gangs don't really take too kindly to that. In fact, the one time I can think of at least 4 or more being in one location in one cell block at once in South Carolina state prisons, this happened. This is a news article from 2014. This is about an attack that occurred at Ridgeland Correctional Institution in South Carolina. Although it doesn't specifically say what affiliation these 4 inmates were, they were in a white-based prison gang, and that was the reason for the attack. So maybe your question now is, okay, if he can't join a white-based gang, what about the ones that are in there? Can he not join one of those? Well, I would say no, because out of the 3 notable gangs that are in South Carolina prisons, only one allows white gang members. Thing is, with any of those 3 gangs, these guys take a lot of pride in their gangs, organizations, whatever you want to call it. They take a lot of pride in them. They're not going.
What gangs don't allow white people? Murdaugh. That's what his nickname. That's what I thought that was pretty clever, but you know, it's I don't like to laugh at somebody, you know, because he killed his wife and son, so I don't like to laugh at that name, but I did think that Murdaugh was pretty clever. Papa Murdaugh. Murdaugh. Oh, that's why his last name is like murder in the gangster way. Murdaugh. That's how Born Thugs says it. Mo Murdaugh, Mo Murdaugh, Mo Murdaugh. This guy's out. I'm trying to figure out who Aisha was talking about. Did she ever say? Or what the name of the show was? Hammer comment? Oh, yeah. Are you talking about Dawn? Yeah, Dawn did say something about her Summer being hit with a hammer over the head or something, didn't he? It was very graphic and so he says the most graphic shit. It's not normal to say about your own child when that's so. I can't even talk about my daughter like that now. I couldn't even think about, I couldn't even say that now about my daughter. Like something, I can't even, It's so, that's uncomfortable. Why does Dawn feel so comfortable saying such like inappropriate things that are so not, acceptable by society? Like, he talks about like Summer getting, the shit beaten out of her, or being sold for drugs and a crack for crack. I mean, just the most graphic shit. Okay, thank you, Aisha, because I want to watch that. He said something about a hammer hitting her over the head with it, or that he didn't know what happened with Summer. They could have hit. Didn't he? Isn't that what he said? Yeah, one of his 10 versions of what he imagines happened to Summer. Like, your mind goes there, and that might be something you talk about in therapy, like as your worst fear, like in therapy or something. You don't sit there and he talks about it like it doesn't, it's so not okay. I don't know what is wrong with him. And that to me shows me that he doesn't think like normal person. He is desensitized to certain things. The way he talks about child SA, he's way too comfortable about talking about certain things. And it leads you to, me anyways, to believe that that's probably kind of a sign of somebody like that, because, well, if you're an RSO, or if you're somebody who does something to children, you're going to want to rationalize it. Your mind is going to rationalize it so you can live with yourself. You're not going to view yourself as sick or I don't know. Maybe you would, but Many of them are, have other personality disorders going on, and they're just not capable of finding fault or anything wrong with them. I need some more pop. Yeah. You big dummy, Dawn. Dawn, you big dummy. Right, exactly. Exactly, Marilyn. I think we should really plead with, I think the only chance is with Candus, and Ernie almost freaking got her. It has to be one of you men. Sweet talks Candus and just, gets her to confess like she knows something. Don's never going to say. That's why he wouldn't let Candus talk, because he knows how easily manipulated Candus is. He knows, because that's why he picked her to be with. He likes to manipulate. He's been doing it his whole life. RJ said not it. RJ called it. He immediately said not it. You're a local. Come on, take one for the team, RJ. Hey, Sugar Moon. Yes, he does, Jane. That's for sure.
Going to make someone a member when they know you're only doing it for protection. Okay. They don't want members like that. They pride themselves on every member being strong and being able to be strong and stand alone by himself. If it's a case where someone needs protection, like Alec Murdaugh, they'll establish an understanding with you. Maybe you do this for us, and we'll make sure nothing happens, or we'll do this for you. Whatever the case is, sure, they'll do that, and they'll say, no, don't mess with any other gang. This is us. This is we got something going on. Okay, so only deal with us. But they're not going to make him a gang member. Final point I want to make and thing I want to address is I do see a lot of you asking, what do I think about that leaked phone call that Alec made asking for someone to put, I believe, $60 on another inmate's commissary account. What is that all about? Is he buying drugs, paying off gang members? Is he paying for protection? Well, I'll tell you what I think. But first, is he buying drugs? Possibly. And honestly, that would make more sense than buying protection from gang members with $60. In that case, what kind of protection is $60 going to get you? No, I don't think he's buying protection from gang members at all. I don't think that's what this is. Yeah, could be buying drugs, but if I had to guess, we know he's got some financial troubles going on. His accounts are frozen. He owes money. In situations like that, the state will take money that's put onto your commissary account. Now, I don't know if that was the case when this call was made, because I believe that call was from the county jail. Okay, that wasn't when he got to prison. That could be something we see him doing a lot more often.
Oh, it doesn't even have to be a good-looking guy. She will take whatever she can get. Look at Dawn. As long as you're, better than Dawn, you're golden. So pretty much 100% of men. She sets her standards way up there.
In the future, because yes, if they're going to be taking money from his account, that's something they do when you owe money, and that's actually in your court case, in your court sentencing, you owe money. Yeah, they'll take that out of your commissary account. So it definitely wouldn't be uncommon to see him, go to another inmate and say, hey, listen, I want to get some canteen, some snacks. Can I put $60 on your account? I'll let you spend $10 of it. You want to get you $10 worth of food? Great. Just go up there for me and bring me back my $50, and you get you 10. That's a very common thing to do. Is it allowed, according to the rules of South Carolina prison? No, but there are a lot bigger and worse things happening and going on in these prisons than that. So 99% of the time that staff doesn't really, I mean, they're not really looking and checking on that. However, Alec Murdaugh is under such scrutiny and he's being very, very closely watched by the public. So it puts pressure on the staff. Maybe they will be watching him and maybe they will do something about it. What are the consequences for it going to be? I mean,
that's because you're a good person, RJ. Well, I'm not saying that somebody, well, yeah, I am. I mean, come on. Let's be real. The two people who she swooned over, it was Benny and Ernie. I mean, and then there was, Mike July even too, supposedly. So, I mean, they're better than Dawn, I guess. But think about it. What I mean by bringing up Benny and Ernie, it's just that they're a little shady. You know what I mean? They can be shady. They don't mind being. They have no shame at times. Okay. Ernie has no shame pretty much 100% of the time, and then Benny has no shame probably like half the time. 60% of the time he can be a good person, but a lot of times he chooses not to. And then I couldn't imagine like really being able to fake being into somebody, but I don't even think that they had to even do that. I mean, I think Ernie did flirt with her and call her like honey and stuff. I think Ernie was really, really close. He was I really do. He was really close. I wish Candus would make a deal with the state. But I think that Dawn has her terrified. I mean, she is going to probably go to prison, especially now. I mean, you can't, it's now like how long afterwards, if she does have some, I don't know, it would matter her involvement, right? But if it was mostly Dawn, she should have, he could have manipulated her though into, she's very immature, like in her mentality. It was something that happened with Benny, like, I think at the same time, like, what, I don't know what did happen with Ernie and Candus. For some reason I was thinking it was something at the same time, like Benny was acting kind of weird, like jealous in a way. It's kind of weird. As long as Yun stay to the city areas. What? so casually say some crazy, unthinkable, offensive words really says a lot about his upbringing and the way he's living. Or it shows what he's okay with. And even when he's known that he's live in front of hundreds of people, knowing thousands and thousands of people, and possibly the whole world is going to see it, he goes on, look at the things he said so openly, even knowing he's on a live. And then the things he said to people like myself or others who have talked to him on the phone, knowing we're going to report it back to YouTube. But still, you don't you think he would be? Most people are kind of standoffish. Like, they don't put all their skeletons to people they don't know, So if he's saying that type of stuff live in front of people, knowing people are going to hear it, just imagine that, you know what I mean? He talks about some of this stuff so, like, it's so normal. It's because there's a reason why he tries to normalize this stuff. And what's a yinzer? I don't believe that Candus is free to dawn. She had many months to do what she wanted to do. Didn't do anything. Yeah, that's what makes me like really uncomfortable about Candus. Like, she had some really, good women that were willing that would have, seriously, there would have been so many people on here, many probably are in this chat right now, that would have loved to have helped support Candus, until she got on her feet, if she would have left Dawn. And told what happened to Summer. I mean, she would have no problem. So that's what makes me nervous. The fact that she didn't take that chance when she had it. Now, I know that she is not like she's not, her IQ is probably below average. I'm guessing probably borderline. So could it be due to that? Like, could it have something to do with her level of being able to comprehend? I don't know. I'm sure it could factor in a little bit, but she had some perfect opportunities, and it makes me think it makes me think she's involved, like, directly when she since she didn't take the opportunity. Oh, a Yenser is somebody from Pittsburgh. Oh, did you tell me what it was? The name is Monique Oliver, accessory to evil. Okay, awesome. Yeah, I'll watch that. I'll start watching it tonight when let me write that down. And just accessory to evil. Just so everybody knows, I guess YouTube is here soon gonna be taking, I don't know like when, if it's already started, but they're gonna be taking like 45% or something of super chats. So I mean, it's up to you, but just know that if you send super chat, like YouTube gets like almost half. So I do have my Cashapp and Venmo that is in the chat. I'm just saying that because I don't know. Does anybody know when that's changing over? That's absolutely insane that they're raising it to almost 50%. Okay, Monique Oliver, accessory to evil. I'm going to check that out for real. Is Country Girl still in this? I did her. She swooned on Benny. Yeah. Sad because women can make it without them, and it's the trauma bond that's really hard to break. Yeah. Yeah. They're raising it like it's absolutely ridiculous. It was 30%. Oh, I got your message, Curiosity. So I'll check that out later for sure. I mean, I see a notification from you. Exactly. And that's another thing to remember. Candus is almost 20 years younger than him, too. I mean, Don is very, very immature, so... But still, Candus is not... She's a little behind, and... So it's not like... I mean, if Candus was where she is supposed to be mentally, then Don would probably be about on her level. But since he's... since she's like delayed, I don't know. Don's smart. He's got it. Had to been. He's street smart. He's very good at manipulating. They changed it to 50%. Oh my god. Good night, fine summer. $15-year-old mentally, yeah. And I think that's why, yeah, and that's why she seems to relate with teenagers. Two peas in a pod. But don't you think, I mean, I'm not trying to give him more credit than he's due, of course. I'm not. But when he's had to use it his whole life, you know? He's had to use the manipulation his whole life. We all of us learn manipulation to a degree. It's, you know, kind of something as a kid you manipulate to try, you know, you cry for a cookie, or it's manipulation. Don just never grew up. And he's continued to do that type of stuff into his adulthood and into his middle adulthood. You're fine, Aisha. I was just putting out there. I appreciate it. I appreciate any of it. Seriously, I just wanted people to know that how much YouTube takes. I don't think people will know that, but I am so appreciative no matter what. Seriously, I'm trying to get my channel back going, and I'm gonna have to make money on it on here to be able to stay on like I want to, but maybe if I'm not making money, then I could, I could still do the like hour, a day. Yeah, it's a survival skill and it's something that we've all learned as a survival skill, but it's kind of something that you don't have to depend on the older you get, and you learn it's not the right, you have to provide, it's not the right way to get things. But as a child, that's what you use because that's all you have. It's all your only resource you have is manipulation. As you get older, you learn. You learn better. She better leave her man alone. There was no way she could do what she could do. Oh my God. Ew. I heard she said to leave her or to stay out of her man's pants or something like that. Well, PG, I don't know. PG, I don't know. I'm not sure what to believe with that. I don't know. I think more so. I tried to get her. I tried to so hard to get Prayer Garden to, because what I figured that happened. I figured she thought, well, if I flirt with him, he'll, maybe I can convince, get close enough that he'll tell me what happened this summer. Maybe someday he'll confess in one of his drunken stupors, or maybe if I can get him to fall in love with me over the. Anyway, some guys are very easy to manipulate by women in that way. And so I thought maybe that's what Prayer Garden was doing, but so I tried to give her an out and ask her if that's what she was doing to try to get information, was flirting with him. And she like 100% denied it. She was like, no way, I would never. She's like, shit. So that didn't work. The chill sex. She can be really funny sometimes, that's for sure. It's a developmental stage, but most aren't arrested there. They develop more coping skills. Yeah, exactly, Miller. You know what you're talking about. Well, I guess I could go ahead and play there's only a couple minutes left of this, and I'll share the link again. This once again is this Jumpsuit Pablo. You should sub up to him. He is, I'm guessing most of you already are. But he's pretty interesting.
Nothing that serious. Long story short, no, he will not be joining a prison gang unless, over years and years, this somehow hardens him and turns him into just a force to be reckoned with physically. Then maybe possibly, but I don't see it happening, and especially with his history of just being on that side of the law, I don't see that ever happening. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope it gave you.
Yeah, Alex Murdaugh, isn't he like? Why am I thinking he's 54 years old? Is that right? Yep. She's genuine in her love for Donnie. I saw that Curiosity. I said earlier that I got your message and I'll get back to you. Probably be tomorrow afternoon, because usually after I get off live at night, I turn off my phone. Well, not turn it off, but that before bed, like after I get off my live, that's my relaxed time, like my meditation. Not really meditation, but just kind of chill time for an hour. And yeah, she doesn't have much shame. She's perfect. I knew that she would be perfect for YouTube because she doesn't have any shame. Those people are, when you don't have any type of shame, it makes it easy for you. But, well, except the fact she gets super, super angry. She still lets people get to her. Like, over time, I've learned how to better handle it slowly. And you would think, like, that's what would happen. You would learn, like, a kind of like trial and error type thing. Just like, that's how you evolve and grow and figure out how to cope with certain different changes in your life. But some people are, if they don't have the shame, it does make them it easier for them, but they're still, they get all stressed and stuff, and that's terrible for your health. Stress is like the worst thing ever for your health. Supposedly, it can cause weight gain. Some people eat more. Some people get, it's supposed, there's even studies about it accelerating cancers. Yeah, everybody, I know she has, Brown Bear. I know she has. It's just, you have to wonder sometimes, like, people who can be so horrible, you have to wonder, like, what they have experienced in life to make them like that. So sometimes I just try to view them as, like, I try to remember that there's something wrong with that person and it's not me, and that it's some kind of, they're going through something in their life, like some kind of trauma or something. But it's important to work on that stuff, because otherwise you turn into Don Wells and, like, never change, you never evolve, you're the same person as you were 20 years ago. It's very easy to see what kind of those type of people. YouTube's full of them. Yeah, hair loss. It could cause it could also, I mean, depending on the person, for some people it makes you eat more, some people makes you eat less, you know, depression, all kinds of shit. So like a domino effect. It doesn't seem like a big deal when you think about when you say, oh, it's stressful on YouTube. It doesn't sound like that big a deal, but it can really affect you bad. It's definitely can affect your mental health big time. Yeah, I know. It is sad. It make me so sad. It does make me sad because, well, I'm not going to get into it, but I've known, had somebody in my life that I was really, really close to, and they were like that. And it's really sad. After what, I would feel bad for them because I don't know. I just think it holds you back. Pride, ego, lack of accountability. It holds you back from being, it holds you back from becoming a better you. From there are people who change, but it just seems like there are so much more people who stay stuck. Exactly what I mean. He hasn't grown or changed since his 20s by choice, of course, because he likes that power dynamic you feel in your 20s. So although he and Candus have an age gap, it's about power. Oh yeah. And that's it. And that's dangerous when you're dealing with a criminal who has that desire for power. That's the drive. And the motive for a lot of horrible crimes. So it's scary. Think about it. Think about how many crimes are committed because of that sick fantasy of wanting to have power over somebody. A lot of serial killers, a lot of murderers, a lot of people who sexually assault others. It's a power thing. And Don's like that. And so it makes you wonder. Like he's like that as far as a controlling person from what we hear, allegedly. And from what we have witnessed. But guys, I'm going to go. It's almost 2 a.m. And it's been a good live today, though. So thank you guys so much for hanging out. I think that it looks like Lab just went live, so maybe go over there. So let me share this jumpsuit Pablo again because I've been playing a lot of his videos and it's only fair. Good night, everybody. All right. I'll see you tomorrow. Nighty night.